In the arms of an angel.
I have no idea why I'm giggling, but welcome in, guys, to the AJA Sports Show. Something got my attention and made me laugh. This is Monday after week 4. Happy Monday, everybody. Got Monday Night Football coming up in just an hour. How you guys doing today?
Adequate.
Doing pretty well.
Adequate after a 40-burger shutout. Adequate. What?
Yeah. The Chiefs got to win this week, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'll take them how I can get them, even though we allowed 30 to Philly. I'm not going to talk about it. We actually are going to talk about it quite a bit, but
yeah.
There's always things I could work on. So I mean, I even though I did well on yesterday's show, I could have improved. So I'm going into this game like it's this show like it's the best show I'll ever do, and I'm going to get better for the next show.
That's how we approach every show here at AJA. It's a mindset, it's a mentality. It's what we do. It's Monday. We're here to talk some football. So let's get right into it, right, guys? We are here with the appetizers of week 4. Let's go over some stuff that happened yesterday. I guess we could kick it off with the last thing that happened yesterday. First on today's show, Brady was victorious in his return to Foxborough and to New England. Before we get deep into that, Mr. Ryan saw your picture yesterday. I should have pulled it up actually on so we have the show. But he was at the game yesterday. Was able to see his Cardinals absolutely stomp undefeated Rams team that nobody really.
that game was not close, bro. Like it ended up being 17. It wasn't even 17. We were dead wrong. Goat did goat things. Do you think so, Tony? I feel like he played decently well. I think Antonio Brown dropped at least 2 touchdowns. So, interesting. They're usually way more efficient in the red zone. Sorry, now we're talking about the game. We'll get to that. But yeah, big game for Ryan. Cards.
All right. Let's see whose house. Are we still talking about? We talking about Brady still? Tony?
Because he built it?
That's the Rams. That's the Rams like chant. They say whose house? Rams house.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny for people who haven't really had a staple stadium until this season, but okay.
That's why they're so happy they got a house. They finally got one.
Did they also say that in St. Louis? And then when they moved to LA, were there like some fans that were like, yeah, our house or Rams house? No, yeah, that is what they say though.
I did not know.
Rams house.
Ryan says Cards house.
Cards house. Yeah. They made it Cards house yesterday.
Ryan, that's a Netflix show. It's called House of Cards. I don't know what you're talking about.
You stole my pun, Ace. God dang it, man. I was trying to get that in there and you beat me. All right, anyway. So the GOAT, as Tony said, the GOAT, he did a couple GOAT things. He won the game, and that's what the GOAT has done throughout his career. So that's really all that matters. Bill Belichick did, what he could to slow him down. Obviously, the circumstances and all the stuff surrounding the game itself probably played a little bit of a factor, even though Tom will tell you it didn't. Just in general, what did you guys take away from the game, and what did you guys see and things you liked, things you didn't like? Specifically for me, I didn't really like. I'll go real quick and I'll throw it to you guys. Mac Jones played efficient, but didn't really take chances down the field, and they ended up costing them. And then the field goal attempt, 56-yard field goal attempt in a rainstorm is a bit peculiar, but I guess I see why he did it. But just goes to show the faith he doesn't have in Mac. But what did you guys take away from this in particular?
Ace, you want to go first, buddy? You want me to go?
Sure.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, what I took away from this is Mac Jones is okay, and I haven't followed every pass he's thrown, but they're usually 2 to 5 yards, and 19 passes in a row. That's good. Like, keep improving because he has improved each week, so that's good. It's great. The New England Patriots stuck to their game plan, and it could have worked out. I mean, Nick Folk did miss the field goal, so I mean, there you have it. But Ryan Suckup, Tampa's kicker on the other side, also missed one too. So I mean, if we give everybody a 100% kick, field goal percentage, then the game is still a 2-point game to the Bucs. And Jay mentioned like Antonio Brown dropped some passes and stuff like that, and it could have gone a completely different way. But what I think this proved, and most people are still going to say Tom's the GOAT, but Coach Belichick stuck to his game plan, showed that he could drop 9 people back in coverage. He could do zone blitzes, and he could mess with the legendary GOAT Tom Brady. And so You have to also have a great coach to be able to execute the game plans. I mean, it's going to be a wash in history. It's going to be a 50-50 split, I think, with Tom and Bill, with the New England Patriots franchise and dynasty that they built, because we're probably not going to see anything similar like that until we're all dead. But I just, I give props to the coaching for Bill Belichick, and he was a severe underdog, and Vegas won a lot of money off of people thinking that the Bucs were going to just destroy the Patriots, and we thought so too, right? I thought it could be like a score game, but I didn't think it was going to be a 2-point game that with a chance to end in the Patriots' favor. So I would say it's a complete win for the Patriots. They're obviously not going to win the division this year. The Bills already have a 2-3 game lead over every division opponent that they got. So if you're building for the future, then Belichick is doing well for Mac Jones, and I take away that more than Tom barely winning a game. If you watch most of Tom's games during the regular season, he has really, really fantastic, amazing games, and then he also has like some of these studs where he has a pretty balanced team, so he doesn't have to do all the work all the time.
Yeah. I think the narrative surrounding the game, I think, was a little bit built up more in anyone's head than anyone would have imagined. So hold on, let's get to these comments real quick. So just begging the question. So this is one that we may be able to get to later. Are the Cards the best team in the NFL? As of right now, 4-0. They're the only undefeated team left in the NFC. The only one left in the AFC is the Raiders. So yeah, definitely for me, Tony, I think they are at this point. Obviously, I still think they have some ways to go, but yeah, I would say yeah. We can get to that one a little bit later too. But Ryan says that they tried to go with that chant when there were 6 people left in the stands. Yeah, what a bunch of buffoons. Yeah, no shot. Any Cards fan that was there, you guys had to have been like the last ones out, right, Ryan? I definitely would have made sure I was. And then Ryan also says, would love to have would have lost a lot of money this weekend on games. Bills played awful yesterday. Yeah. Only hung a 40 burger on them. Yeah. Dude, they could have done better.
They could have done better.
They're the only team with multiple shutouts so far this season. So shout out to you guys' defense. And even the shutout that they didn't allow, they held Pittsburgh to a relatively low point total too. That defense is legit. Sean McDermott is an unbelievable defensive coach.
Yeah, their defense scored a touchdown from too.
Yeah.
Fun fact, real quick, before you get to your game takeaway, Jay. I know we're taking a little time to get to you, but the Bills joined the 2000 Ravens as the only team in NFL, as the only 2 teams in NFL history to have 2 shutouts in their first 4 games of an NFL season, with yesterday's win against the Texans. So you can only play who's in front of you. So they're taking care of business in the best way possible. 2 back-to-back, back-to-back shutouts. Not back-to-back shutouts. Shutouts in 2 out of the last 3 games. So anyway, Jay, your takeaways from last night's game.
Yeah, so I just think the narrative is a little overblown, man. When you look at these type of dynasties, look at any dynasty that's ever been a dynasty in pretty much any professional sport. There's always constant friction. Kobe and Phil Jackson didn't get along there for a little bit. Obviously, the credit where it's going to be given is always something that gets brought up with these guys. And good Lord, can't you just give it to both of them? Like Tom Brady's an unbelievable coach, and Bill Belichick's an unbelievable. The other way around. Bill Belichick's an unbelievable coach. Tom Brady's an unbelievable quarterback. And when you put those 2 together, you're going to win a lot of football games. And as they've shown, you can win a lot of championships. Now, from the game itself, I think the weather played a big factor. Tom Brady's used to that weather being in New England for a while, but that was an absolute monsoon. He even mentioned in the post-game presser, he was like, the weather was real difficult. It was something that everyone struggled with. I very much had kind of the opposite view, and I told Andrew a little bit later on last night. I thought Mac Jones played very well. The Buccaneers, they blitz. That is what they do. They bring pressure. They facilitate pressure by bringing extra defensive players. And even during the game, I mentioned to Andrew, you got to change it up a little bit, man. They were blitzing at what seemed like almost like a 60% clip. And when they were actually able to get to Mac Jones was when they dropped eight guys in coverage. A lot of the times people think that getting pressure on young quarterbacks is the way to throw them off. And very often that's the case. And that's 100% right. But a lot of the times what people don't understand is when you're able to identify that pressure, where to go with the ball becomes very easy, right? Like if I know where the pressure is coming from, I know where my hot route is, and I'm just going to take it. And that's what Mac Jones was doing, kind of pegging back off what Asa was saying. That's why every one of his throws was anywhere from 2 to 5 yards. He very rarely threw the ball down the field. But the Buccaneers were bringing 6 guys regularly. There was not enough people to block these guys. So getting it out to his outlet receiver, Mac Jones did a great job of that yesterday. I think he showed great poise in the pocket. I think he showed great poise just in general. This game, the Patriots were leading this game 7-3 for a minute there. And looked like that the score of this game could very well be in question. As you mentioned, that last field goal, what I will say about Bill Belichick is he's a great coach and everything. That 4th and 3, given what they've been doing, I'm going for it there. I mean, this is a 56-yard field goal in a monsoon, as I mentioned. That was a tough kick to go to even recommend trying to go with. I think on 4th and 3 there, you got to go for it. You got to get that. You got to try to get that first down. And not only does it put you in better field goal position, it doesn't give Brady the ball back. So I thought that was really questionable. I mean, he almost made the field goal. So, I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020, right? I mean, if he would have, if I knew he makes the field goal, then we're having a totally different conversation. But even before they kicked the field goal, I told Andrew, and Andrew, we were both very shocked that they were not thinking about going for this. I think it was a great homecoming. I think it was a great game. I like that it was competitive. I definitely thought the Buccaneers were going to go in there and smack the crap out of the Patriots. Didn't anticipate the weather being this bad, though. That's something I noticed Saturday morning, that the weather was going to be a little lackluster there. So, yeah, I think it was a great game. I think Tom Brady got the homecoming he deserved that initially. Obviously, they booed the crap out of him after that because that's what Bastion fans are going to go ahead and do. But yeah, a guy who's given you 6 championships, won as many games as he has for an organization. You can't do anything but show love to the guy. Tom Brady's a guy that's given us Chiefs fans grief over, God, I don't know, the last 5 years for sure. And I mean, he's been beating the snot out of us for the last 20. So, not really a guy that you would think I'd have very much affinity for, but I can't help but like the guy, man. He says all the right things, does all the right things, in my opinion. So, yeah, great to see him go over there. Great to see them get a dub. I like being right, so I thought that was right. So.
Yeah, a lot of us definitely had the Bucs winning, albeit by a larger margin. Bills Cards Super Bowl would probably have one of the highest projected totals in Super Bowl history. Recent memory tells you that I think the Bucs and Chiefs had like a 62-point projected total. In this last year's past Super Bowl.
In pass attempts.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
In pass attempts and yards, everything.
Well, the Cards ran the crap out of the ball yesterday. They ran the snot out of the ball. Chase Edmonds had 121 yards rushing. Connor had 2 touchdowns. The Cardinals were 5 for 5 for touchdowns in the red zone yesterday. They were phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, and the Bills would have a lot to play for in this game since last year's stupid Hail Mary game. So, bring this
Be a solid narrative act.
Bring
Hail
this
Murray.
on. Murray.
But it would be fun.
Well. So Brady got the best of Belichick, going from one head coach to the next head coach, probably the second best head coach in the NFL, you could argue right now. Andy Reid sets a record in his return back home to Philly. Another homecoming of this weekend, one of the 3 that happened this weekend. Kevin Stefanski's wasn't as important. Not to take anything away from him. It just wasn't. I mean, Brady.
It wasn't.
But anyway, one of the other homecoming, 100 wins with 2 different franchises, never been done before. Andy Reid has now accomplished that. It only took him 9 seasons in Kansas City to reach the 100 win mark, which Kansas City fans obviously would be very happy about considering the past prior to Andy Reid.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid. In winning his 240th career game, because he won 140 with the Eagles, now 100 with the Chiefs. He now only trails Don Shula, Tom Landry, Bill Belichick, and George Halas in terms of coaches who are ahead of him with more wins in NFL history. Chiefs got, talking to the game, pertaining to the game a little bit here. Andy was nice to see him back on the sideline. Obviously, last week he went to the hospital following last week's game. Let's bring Elizabeth up on here. What's up, Lord Lizzie? How you doing? But his team was able to get right with a nice win over the Eagles. There were no punts in this game by either side. It was only the 4th time in NFL history that neither team punted. The Chiefs were also a part of a game in which no team punted back in 2003 when they played the Indianapolis Colts. So the Chiefs are, basically half of that stat in themselves. Offense looked great, defensively about as soft as a wet paper bag. But they got the win. So any takeaways from this game, guys, that you might have as Andy Reid set his record?
Was that Trent Green? Was that when he was still playing? Is that Priest Holmes and Trent Green?
Yes, sir. Lost to the Colts 35-31 to Peyton Manning in the 2001 divisional round.
I used to like Trent Green. Yeah, I mean, I'll take away this. I didn't guess the Philadelphia score correctly, but I said this game was going to be 42-21 on the end of yesterday's show. I said Patty Mahomes would go for 6 TDs. He went for 5, so I was so dang close there, boys. Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs obviously do not have any problems on the offensive end. Yeah. Turnovers, yes, whatever. Those come in bunches, though, I feel like. And I feel like that they'll correct that. And if they don't, good. Don't correct it next week. Because you're playing the Bills. You know that, right? Did you guys check the schedule? Because I barely saw it today.
I had no idea. Oh, what up, Joe?
What's going on? What's going on, Joe? Yeah, it's a little worrisome. I mean, you gotta at some point the Chiefs defense has to have a game where we can be like, oh, okay, we believe that defense. Damn, because it's gonna be a lot to put on Patrick Mahomes to do this in the playoffs, let alone week to week in the season. But Frank Clark, right? He was still injured and stuff. I mean, I know you know your team better than I know your team, so you guys can speak about what may change that on the defensive end as we go here. Oh, but yeah, I'm happy for Andy Reid. Happy he's healthy. He may maybe not be in perfect health, so take care of yourself, big guy. Have another 200 wins in Kansas City, because as long as Patrick Mahomes is alive, you're going to get there pretty quickly. I don't know how long this guy will coach, but to the future. Cheers.
Thank you. I cheer that up right to you, buddy. Trust me. No, so you guys are absolutely correct. The defense is bullocks, absolute bullocks. It's really bad. This Chris Jones at the defensive end thing is got to stop. It's enough. It's really enough. He's great and everything, and he's going to be good wherever you put him. But good Lordy Jesus, man, go back to playing the 3 tech and dominating from the inside, because we're not stopping nosebleeds in there. Jerron Reed was a signing that everyone was so damn happy about. He's been a ghost, been an absolute ghost. Didn't even know he was on the field. Wouldn't know it the way he's been playing. You're hoping to get some guys back here like Frank Clark, but who even knows how long he's going to be back for? Guy's got a gun charge. We'll see how it goes. But you can't go a whole game without making a team punt once. Like it's quite ludicrous. Like Jalen Hurts, they were doing whatever they wanted, like literally whatever they wanted. RPO game was nasty. They didn't even have to run the ball. I mean, Miles Sanders only had 7 rushing attempts. He had 2 rushing attempts. He had 7 over the last 2 weeks. I don't know why they're not giving Miles Sanders the ball more. I would if I was the Eagles, but go figure. I'm not the Eagles. But the RPO game was ridiculous. It's something that people were going to really exploit. They were able to take chunks off the clock, which is always gosh darn scary. And again, up and down the field, just doing absolutely whatever they wanted offensively. We stink, and I was telling Andrew yesterday, we stink in the run game. We suck in the pass game. We stink covering guys in zone. We stink in man. We stink in getting a pass rush. This defense, you can smell it from a while away. It just reeks. It's so bad right now. And some of it defensively is like a mindset thing. Like there are some guys out there, dude, that are kind of hot dogging it, man. And if you don't know what hot dogging it means hot dogging, okay? It means kind of like lackadaisical. Like we're not fully engaged, and it's ridiculous, especially when you have an offense as talented on the other side of the ball. You should be trying to do everything you can to get them the ball back. Everyone wants to know why Thornhill, every Chiefs fan, why isn't Thornhill playing? Why isn't Thornhill playing? Go look at the tape. Good Lord, can't tackle a wet paper bag. I mean, golly, dude. No, the defense is not good right now. We're not gonna sugarcoat it, and this is great to get a win. But some of the Arrowhead Addict guys were talking about it yesterday, and I mentioned it to Andrew a little bit. Man, Sunday night could be ugly. Like really, like I haven't had this feeling about being a Chiefs fan in quite a while. The Buffalo Bills legitimately scare me Sunday night. Like there's a chance the Buffalo Bills can come out here and whomp us a solid like 40-24. Like it would not surprise me at all if the Buffalo Bills come out here and score a ton of points on this defense. And this Buffalo Bills defense has a pass rush. Last year, their biggest thing was they had a phenomenal secondary, great linebacking core, but struggled to generate a pass rush. And in order to get one, they would oftentimes bring the extra man. They don't have to do that this year. They are getting to the quarterback. And even in week 1 in their loss to Pittsburgh, they got to that statue out of weight, son of a gun, Big Ben. So, Yeah, Sunday night scares me. The Kansas City Chiefs offense is unbelievable, as you mentioned. Clyde Edwards-Helaire looks really efficient, and everyone's going to talk about that, and that's all great and everything. But when you're facing 7-man boxes, you should be able to dominate in the run game. Some of the holes that he was going through, you could have took a lawnmower through with how big of holes they had. So, yeah, I mean, glad to get the win, but definitely did not settle any problems that I had with the Chiefs. I mean, all it did was tell me that Patrick Mahomes can keep doing what he's doing. So, hopefully the Chiefs notice that and understand that we can't keep winning this way. It's going to be a really long season if we think that we can't.
Yeah, in terms of defensive players returning to the team that could be impactful, Willie Gay is projected to return next week, barring any setbacks. Frank Clark, not sure, he had a hamstring injury that's barring him from seeing the field right now, and then as well as that gun charge that's being handled off the field. And there was also, I'm missing one other person. I agree with the Chris Jones thing. I think you need to move him back inside. He's just so effective up the middle that he's just not having that pass rush at all. And then they're literally not doing anything well at all. And at least you have that saving grace that Chris Jones can get pressure through the middle. One thing the Chiefs did do well, like you mentioned, the run game. A lot of teams have been able to run the ball lately, and the Chiefs ran the ball pretty well against the Bills last year. So going into next Sunday, that's probably something they're going to have to probably prioritize going into that Sunday night matchup, because they were able to do it well last season. Speaking of running the football, though, the Cowboys were able to run the football against the Panthers, through the run game. Piled up about 220 yards of rushing yards against this Panthers defense. No Christian McCaffrey, so Sam Darnold had all the weight on his shoulders to get the job done. Cowboys defense has been pretty staunch and pretty solid. Trayvon Diggs has emerged as I don't even know how. We're only 4 games in, but he's got 5 interceptions. I don't know what we want to call him just yet, but he's in a second year. He's a 6'3", long, lanky corner who's absolutely ball hawking and making plays for this defense. DeMarcus Lawrence is still not even on the field yet, and they're still getting pass rush with Micah Parsons, who's playing well beyond his years. And the Cowboys are looking really good. I had them projected to win 13 games this season. I know I got a little slack for that, but they're looking really good right now. And Ezekiel Elliott, with 20 touches on the ground, was able to turn that into 143 yards for a 7.2 average and 1 touchdown. Thank you, Mike McCarthy. I'm never going to say that again. So
Andrew's fantasy team is very.
I got mollywopped by 4. I got mollywopped by 90 points, but at least Zeke got me 27.
Tell him why. Tell him why though. You were hit with the effect of one gentleman.
This guy, dude, the guy I'm playing has Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill went off for 52 points, and then he has Josh Allen, who had 26, and then for some reason, I have no reason as to why this guy played Cordero Patterson.
Cordero Patterson.
He decided to have a career game yesterday, Cordero Patterson. 3 touchdowns and burnt me for 39, and Deebo Samuel burnt me for 4. How am I supposed to win when 3 of his guys get 42, 39, 52?
You don't?
Jeez, I put up 150 without Justin Herbert to play yet. Anyway, guys.
Cordero Patterson had 12
started Cordero Patterson, bro. I can't make this up.
12 touches for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns.
It's ridiculous, dude. Cordero Patterson.
He's playing 30. He's playing like 32% of the snaps. What he's doing is absolutely unbelievable. Trust me, I'm right there with you. I played Mike Davis in a bunch of DFS tournament lineups. Absolutely hit the schneid. He had 1 receiving touchdown.
I am livid.
All his work taken from Cordero. 100% with. What do you think about the Cowboys, though, Ace? Did you happen to catch up on that game a little bit?
Yeah. No, I think it was what we're seeing is really good too, because if you're looking at Dak coming back from not playing, past week 5 last year, breaking his leg, ankle, whatever the hell that was, he has seen his pass attempts drop to 22 this week, and that was like 27, 26 the last 2 weeks. And I mean, if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you don't have to have Dak Prescott aired out 40 to 60 times a game in potential shootouts like he might have to do against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if you can get quality wins and not have your, the star of your franchise who now you just signed to, a long-term deal. I think everything's great there. The real Tony P is not on that field. He's here in the comments watching this show. I mean, Zeke has looked better the last couple weeks too. I like what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. They have every opportunity to get to double-digit wins playing this way. 12 wins even, I would say, is a very real possibility. They have to play the Giants. the 1-3 Giants. Okay, they'll do okay there. They'll have to face the 1-3 Eagles, right? Is it 1-3? Yeah, the Washington Redskins are what 2-2 now.
Football.
Washington football team. I'm sorry. Washington football team is what 2-2.
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be 12 wins for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not a hater of the Dallas Cowboys like a lot of other people are. When I just walk down the street and people are like, "Oh, I hate Dallas, America's team." I just look at my team and worry about my team, and Dallas is obviously doing well for themselves, so they don't mind you talking crap about them.
Yeah, happy football team, happy life, huh? Yeah, I think Dallas played pretty well. I think I don't know if people were a little too high on the Panthers. They've beaten the New Orleans Saints, who for all intents and purposes don't want Jameis Winston throwing the ball more than 30 times, or else he'll throw it 3 times to the other team. And then a couple of the bottom feeders of the league so far. I'm a big Sam Darnold guy, so I was very much happy to see the fast start that they got off to. I do also realize that they don't have their best player in Christian McCaffrey, and that the defensive numbers are quite skewed based on the fact that they've played, Zach Wilson now as well. And Jameis Winston, who I just mentioned, is not, doesn't look like he's going to be the long-term answer for the Saints, at least if I'm from an outside perspective. But yeah, love to see Zeke getting involved. Everything you said about Dak only throwing the ball 22 times makes absolute sense. The defense, while I don't think it's a great defense by any means, I think they're fast. They have a lot of players who can make up for deficiencies. I mean, a lot of times when stuff is open, the recovery is what is more important, not allowing those big top end plays, those 30, 40-yard touchdowns. Sometimes just being able to stay stout and get teams to kind of make mistakes on their own is how you can be successful on defense. And, obviously the faster the players you have, the more of a makeup ability you have when you make those mistakes defensively. I think Dan Quinn did a great job. They touched on it the last few weeks, actually, that, most teams and most coordinators, that is, bring their own playbook into the new organization that they go to. Dan Quinn kind of scrapped that, came into Dallas, saw the personnel he had, and is now fitting his scheming into what the Dallas Cowboys and their personnel do well defensively. So I think this is a Cowboys team that you're going to continue to see win a lot of ball games. We talked about it in the beginning of the season that, Dak was throwing the ball a ton in starts when Mike McCarthy was the coach. He had, for his first 4 out of 5, he threw the ball over 40 times. And over the last 2 weeks, we've seen him throw it under 30. And I think, that's not the philosophy to win all the time, but it's definitely one that against a superior team where that you're more talented, can get the job done. And I think that's what Dallas is doing right now. So yeah, I think Dallas is a great football team, and I think this was a good win for them.
Ryan, have you been drinking too many Heinekens over there? Taylor Heineke had a really nice top 10 ESPN play this week. But the Washington football team is not playing as good as I thought they would. I
agree.
I picked Saquon to be the comeback player of the year. He still has time to right that ship, but I don't think we were surprised by seeing this division not be stable at all.
He had a big game yesterday. Scored the game-winning touchdown. Saquon did, that is. And yeah, I think Taylor Heineke kind of a gamer, huh? I don't think he's really good or anything, but for what it's worth, he goes out there, he competes. They let him throw the ball a ton. He's able to move with his feet, throws off platform pretty well. I don't anticipate him being the long-term answer for the Washington football team, but he's done a pretty good job in the games that he's played. He's only started 3 games. Looked good in the first one in that playoff game against Tampa Bay, and the last 2 looked pretty good as well. Obviously, didn't look great against Buffalo, but a lot of people aren't. Saquon has had 2 big games in a row, Joe. You're right. Yeah. Yesterday's helped out a little bit with the overtime because he was struggling there until overtime. He did have a nice screen pass that he caught for a touchdown. That was really good. And then obviously he had the touchdown to win the game. I think Saquon's really good, man. That offensive line is so bad. And we saw this even in college for Saquon. He's a boomer bust guy, dude. The thing about Zeke that me and Andrew always marvel about Zeke is the dude never falls backwards. He's always getting 3 to 4 yards. That's some of the stuff Saquon doesn't always do. If there's 1 yard there, getting 4 or 5 in order to keep the chains moving and keep the offense on schedule. That's something that Saquon kind of doesn't always succeed at. But what he can give you is those big plays, touchdowns, and he can make things happen in space a little bit more than Ezekiel Elliott can. So.
Another bold take here from the real Tony P. Thanks for chiming in with that one.
Real quick. Saquon Barkley has been getting like 6 or 7 targets the last couple of games, and he's a good pass catching running back too. His rushes though are still under 20, so I think the Giants need to exploit his abilities and get him at least 20 touches, and then maybe the Giants will start winning some games.
Agreed, and well said, because this team resting on the shoulders of Danny Dimes is not going to get it done. So real quick, this one's going to be kind of quick. The game itself was uneventful. Seattle took down the 49ers 28-21 in a game that was not as close as the scoreline would tell you. Niners had a touchdown late that that kind of kept the scoreline a little closer. But Jimmy G did leave the game before the return of the third quarter. Trey Lance stepped in, was able to quarterback this team for the second half. Didn't look great, but coming in, unexpectedly and to be taking all the snaps in the second half against a team like Seattle, a divisional opponent, is not easy. So Jimmy G probably going to be out for a couple of weeks. He was pretty optimistic after his post game, saying that he's probably going to be ready, hopes to be ready for next week, but it's looking like it's going to be a 2 to 3 week time frame with they're calling it a quad contusion right now. I'm not exactly sure how long that's going to keep him out for, what the recovery time is like. But anything you saw at a Trey Lance, Johnny, yesterday that you saw that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think he looked. I mean, honestly, if we're gonna be 100% transparent, he looked as good as the rest of the starting QBs that came in this rookie class. I don't think any of them are really blowing the doors off anything. I think Mac Jones, in my opinion, has looked the best, but he's got the best around him, so that makes the most sense. Trey Lance, we've kind of seen this as kind of a recurring theme in his short sample size. Even in the preseason, he struggles completing the stuff that's there. I saw a few balls of his get knocked down too, which is kind of interesting considering he's a bigger guy. Only 50% completion yesterday as well. And I mean, if you look at his numbers, he was 9 of 18 for 157, 2 touchdowns. He had no interceptions, so that's good to see. One of the touchdowns was Deebo Samuel, and that dude was absolutely wide open for that 60-yarder that he threw. That's the second time. I mean, again, in the preseason, we saw it too against Kansas City. And these dudes are wide open, man. Kyle Shanahan is unbelievable as an offensive coach. He really is. He schemes stuff up just about as good as any of them. I think Trey Lance showed some growing pains. I think he's going to continue to do so. He showed a little bit of his mobility. He had a 4th and 10 that I remember vividly where he made a good scramble move out of the pocket through the B gap and was able to pick up the first down. But, playing the Seahawks is a tough task, as Andrew mentioned. Their defense hasn't been great. But anytime you play a Pete Carroll defense, especially being a young quarterback, you're going to go through some struggles. I didn't think there was really any chance the Seahawks lost this game. The Seattle Seahawks, since Russell Wilson has come to the team and Pete Carroll, have not lost 3 games in a row the entire time that they've been there. They lost 2 in a row, so you pretty much could have bet the ranch that they weren't losing yesterday. I think Trey Lance looked okay. And if he gets to see more starts, I imagine that he starts to look a little better. We saw Justin Fields, who looked like absolute a catastrophe in his week 1 start last week, look much better against Detroit this week. So, give these guys time. They're going to be good. It's going to take time. I don't know how good they're going to be, but, obviously Trey Lance is going to go through some stuff, and it looked like he was going through some stuff yesterday.
I mean, if you think about this, if you think about both these teams, you could probably just both say they both underperformed to a certain degree, and being there as it stood, I mean, they've still 2-2, so I mean, they're still in this division, they're still in this hunt. No, they're not trying to climb out of a hole here. What I liked out of the Seahawks though was they had a couple real bad second halves the last few weeks, and then so they actually put together and produced a pretty full game. They had 3. The Seahawks had fumbled the ball 3 times, but they didn't lose any of them. So there was a couple of potential plays there that could have went the other way. Russell Wilson, not exciting in this game, but efficient and did what he needed to do. What I think is cool out of this, though, and maybe we'll see Trey Lance take the first step of all of our college rookie QBs here. Like you said, Shanahan is amazing with the gaming planning some stuff here, and he's got George Kittle, who's doesn't seem like he's 100% either. Had 11 targets in this game, so that's pretty nice. I mean, keep feeding him the ball. You're gonna get more catches than 4. He had 4 yesterday. Kyle Juszczyk is one of those gadget guys, right? But if you look at it, Deebo Samuel, if Brandon Ayuk, Trey Lance has a lot of fun little weapons here, and Shanahan can pretty much set him up for success if they just were not so stupid with running the ball and just I mean, I guess that's from a DFS, like you pulled the rug out of me too many times perspective. I guess from an opponent's perspective, it's good that they're keeping it kind of fresh there. Trey Sermon had a pretty good game yesterday. So I mean, his 18 or for 90 or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think the Cardinals have every shot to win this division, but I'm pretty worried about the teams that are below me because they're all freaking good and they're not playing at their best ball. You could say that the Rams have been playing the best, and they just lost to a tough divisional matchup there. The Cardinals have not played amazing football yet this year. So if they turn it up another degree, then I mean they're already undefeated, right? Where do you go from there? So.
Yeah, and like Tony said, we'll pose the question in a little bit if it's too early to call the best team in the NFL, but the NFC West is looking pretty loaded. To touch on George Kittle real quick though, he was on the field for over 85% of dropbacks for both San Francisco quarterbacks. He ran routes on over 80% of those dropbacks as well. And he saw a 27% target share and still only left the game with four catches for 40 yards. Was completely vultured of a touchdown by their backup tight end. So fantasy owners, take a deep breath. I know you're waiting on George Kittle. He's still a beast. He's still the same guy. It's just unfortunate. Hopefully he's due for some positive touchdown regression. He's only had 2 touchdowns, albeit an injury in most of last season, since the beginning of the 2020 season. So hopefully that turns around. Help the 49ers offense too a little bit as well.
But Andrew, if I could just mention one more thing. I know we've kind of dragged on this news segment for a little bit, but we get excited about football. You have to kind of know that coming in, right? And if you watch our show, at least you know that George Kittle has never had a season where he had more than 5 touchdowns. The most touchdowns that George Kittle has ever had in a season is 5. So if you're expecting for George Kittle to go out there and give you like Travis Kelce type numbers, like you're naive. Like, I mean, even Darren Waller in fantasy, I'd rather have Darren Waller.
Kittle's Skittles is he's the rainbow, right? He's lemon to your fantasy team. He's sour, but man, is he sweet. He's either red. Is what other Skittle flavors are there? Orange,
red, grape, orange.
You glad I'm not going to go through all these. He could be sour Skittles sometimes for sure. He could be the tropical flavors, the ones that get a little George Kittle
have some luau music queued up.
George Kittle is a better tight end in real life than he is for fantasy. It's just
a good way to put it.
He is everything you want your tight end to be, and then some. Travis Kelce though is everything you want your tight end to be, and he is that some. Like he like Travis Kelce is the predominant fantasy football tight end you need a roster on your team. And George Kittle is not, but George Kittle is worth a spot on your roster if we're talking about,
top 3 tight end, even fantasy wise, the top 3 tight end.
But yeah, I mean, Deebo Samuel and him 23, 24 targets yesterday. You want that. That's what you want, right? You want your 2 top targets to be getting that. Ayuk needs to wake up a little bit and get some of that flash that he had last season. I know Deebo Samuel was injured, so like he was getting all of his touches and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, this 49ers team has some good upside, and I think that's going to set well for 18 weeks of pretty close NFC West action.
Yeah, I don't think it surprised any of us if one of these teams from that division came out of the NFC for the Super Bowl. Let's switch gears real fast and let's move on. We talked a lot about running the football, and what better team to bring up than the Baltimore Ravens to talk about rushing the football in the NFL. We'll switch over to the AFC North here. They tied a rushing record, but they pissed off Vic Fangio in the process. I don't think anybody really cares.
Bullshit.
Vic Fangio. And I have a video to share about his post-game presser, and he wasn't too happy about it. We can go ahead and play that real quick.
Did you have a problem with the last play that Baltimore ran?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of bullshit, but I expected it from them. 37 years in pro ball, I've never seen anything like that. So, but it was to be expected.
You're not wrong.
We expected it.
Why did you expect it from them?
Because I just know how they operate.
Because he's a coach. He's smart.
That's just their, mode of operation there. Player safety is secondary.
Is that something anybody even really talked about, that they had 42 straight or whatever the number was, 100-yard games?
We didn't talk about it during the week, but I'm sure the players were aware of it. You guys made them well aware of it.
Okay. So
I'm with this guy.
You're with Vic?
You're going to pose the question. Are we with Harbaugh or are we with Vic? I'm with Vic. I'm the grumpy old man here, man. like Like if you win the game and you want style points at the end, I don't care. This isn't a fashion, this is not a red carpet. Do what you need to do. But if I complain about it afterwards, that's fine. And if you want to complain about my complaints afterwards, do your thing, because I can complain about it next week when I get on the front of the camera. Just because Harbaugh was the last guy to be interviewed and then posed the question. Yeah. It's just a game of like chess checkers bullshit. See how I incorporated the BS there? I mean, ultimately, I don't really care. But I'm just taking a side. But I mean, Vic Fangio has every reason to be pissed. You can. I mean, and people said, oh, and if you guys might say this too. I don't, hate you for it if you do. Why were they going for a touchdown and blah 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 and getting intercepted?
Exactly. Yep.
You can get a touchdown and you could get an onside kick. I mean, that is kind
with
of how
10 seconds. With 10 seconds.
Hey, we've had Madden miracles before.
Jesus.
You and I on my old PlayStation 2. Just saying.
I got John Harbaugh. Let me get John Harbaugh up here. Let's let John Harbaugh explain himself before we just kind of. Okay. Here's John Harbaugh. Here we go. Let's just let everyone know what's going on here. Okay. No, you're good. Absolutely.
We didn't expect to get the ball back, but I'd already we decided that if we got the ball back, we were going to try to get the yards, and we got it back with 3 seconds left. So you're throwing the ball in the end zone with 10 seconds left. I don't know that there's a 16-point touchdown that's going to be possible right there. So, that didn't have anything to do with winning the game. So, like I said, what's meaningful to us might not be meaningful to them, and we're not going to concern ourselves with that. We didn't expect to get the.
There's a popular saying: lions don't concern themselves with the thoughts of sheep. Yeah, I'm not worried about Vic Fangio and what the hell he thinks, bro. I needed 4 yards to get the record, bro. I'm gonna get the record. I don't give a damn what you think. And I waxed you at home. Do something about it. And third off, if you're so pissed off about it, why don't you stop it? Go ahead. I'm running the ball. Stop me from getting the yardage, bro. It's not like Lamar went out there and tap-toeing. He got the 4 yards and he slid. Get over yourself, Vic Fangio. You're supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, huh? Why don't you stop the run?
I'll be a little less, I guess, explosive with my argument. I do.
Switzerland. Andrew's gonna be Switzerland.
I'll be Switzerland. I'll be a little Switzerland here. I genuinely think there's something to be said in setting a record in the NFL, because obviously, record settings matter. Like, setting a record matters. It puts your place in history. It really sets a bar for what you are. The Baltimore Ravens have been the gold standard for running the football since Lamar Jackson took over, and even before that with Ray Rice, who's redacted on this program after that saying of his name right there, and guys like I'm totally forgetting his name. But anyway, they've been the gold standard of running the ball and playing defense. And for them to set a record that really hasn't been touched since the 1974 season, when the Steelers started this and then finished off setting it with the 43 games in a row of rushing for 100 yards in 1977, I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I think that's okay if you're going to go and get it. They didn't run the ball up the middle. They ran it to the outside with their quarterback, and he got the yards and slid right away. I I understand why Vic Fangio's pissed, but I also understand why John Harbaugh also doesn't give a damn as to why Vic Fangio is pissed. And honestly, I don't give a damn why Vic Fangio is pissed. You lost the game. It's probably you're pretty pissed. You're annoyed. It's a sour taste in your mouth. Your quarterback got injured. I understand. Go off on the other team. Take out your anger, but come back better and stronger for next week. And hopefully your defense is prepared to play another good another good game against probably a good NFL team. So
that's the biggest takeaway from the game that we didn't talk about. It was the debut of the number 1 overall draft pick for Team Cheeks, baby. Drew Lock, and under 50% completion percentage, just absolutely just perfect for Drew Lock. Looked absolutely in pristine first overall draft pick Team Cheek form. Oh God, he'd be the first pick right now again.
All right, let me just say, this post game news conference was more exciting than the game itself. Hollywood Brown caught that real nice ball. Love it. Great. Okay. Did you know Elias Sports Bureau, that tracks every gosh darn thing, couldn't find anything to see if a team that was up by double digits and still went for it? I was like doing a little research, They found one play in 1992 where a team was up by like 10 or less or something and ran the ball with like a second to go and got 1 yard. Like, you talked about history, Andrew. this is boring NFL. I don't care about running the ball. Like the Baltimore Ravens run the ball, like and that's great and all. But Lamar, you're just a running back, buddy. And we're gonna start this debate up as much as I want because there's wide receivers that could throw the ball just as well as him.
Asa. Lamar came into last week with the highest yards per attempt in the NFL. Okay, this is not what we're doing right now.
Where did this guy go?
This is not happening right now. Lamar Jackson has been he's been throwing the football.
Did Bill Polian come into our studio? Did Bill Polian here?
No way. We're not. Me and Andrew are not standing for this.
You know why no one's broke that record since the 73s to 77 Steelers? Because it's boring. It's a snooze fest.
Who cares?
But the Ravens care.
Run the ball. The Buffalo Bills cannot run the ball and choose not to run the ball. So what? It's okay that the Buffalo Bills don't run the ball, but it's not okay that the Baltimore Ravens choose to run the ball more. What are we doing right now? No shot.
I mean, the Buffalo Bills are doing pretty decent on the ground this year, but no big deal.
You just said that Lamar Jackson can't throw the football. He's got the feet. Coming into this week, he had the highest yards per attempt of any quarterback. What are we doing?
Whatever. Because Mr. Splashy Play wants to get big plays all the time. I get it. I'm on an island.
Yards per attempt. It's all the attempts, not just the big ones.
I'm on an island to myself because they run the ball so much. Yeah, of course.
What?
You run the ball. 78%
winning percentage when he starts. Asa.
It's
better than Josh Allen's. What are we doing?
It's called. Well, he lost to Josh Allen in the playoffs last year.
He did, but his winning percentage is better than Josh Allen's.
Yeah. You know, he won his first playoff game last year too. That's good for him. You're stuffed. Yeah. Well, you know, this is the buffet line. Welcome in. You didn't even touch the goodies yet. Dessert. Who cares? You're gonna pan down a couple of soft serve ice creams at the end of this, Ryan, with me. You know, okay.
I'm convinced soft serve takes up zero room in your stomach. You could have soft serve. You could have gallons of soft serve and never get full.
Unlimited.
I mean, okay. I'm not ludicrous. I'm not like out of my mind. I do understand that the Ravens have a strategy and it's to run the ball, and that is what they've stuck to, and that is what they are sticking to. Is this the year to do that though? With already missing their two, their three top guys on their RB depth chart, and putting Lamar out there. Like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't keep committing to this, but it really is kind of wild to think that they're gonna keep putting Lamar Jackson in these positions, and anything can happen in the NFL. Soft tissue injuries galore. Jimmy G is Mr. He might as well put him on the toilet paper brand NFL for being soft tissue king, or mattress. Put him on the king of mattresses, Mr.
Ace. They're gonna keep doing this. They're gonna keep
I know, and they're gonna break the record next week.
They should keep doing it. It's what their quarterback does the best at. Every team that's been successful lately that drafts these young quarterbacks steers into what these young quarterbacks do well. What you're not going to do is start lessening the amount that you run with Lamar Jackson. It's not like they're just running, they're not just running halfback dives up the A gap like it's the 1920s, like you're insisting. I mean, they are running super complicated zone read type plays. I mean, their offensive run scheme is ridiculously diverse. It's so hard to go with. That's why they can't have just like a normal backup. They have Trace McSorley and Robert Griffin III that they try to go out there because of how difficult this is. So I don't want us to be undermining that fact that, they just run the ball. Yeah, they do it amazingly, very diversely, very difficultly, and it's won them a ton of football games.
They won this game by 16 points. Why didn't they already secure this rushing feat before the freaking last 3 seconds of the game?
Because Lamar Jackson threw the ball really well because he throws the ball well.
Well, if they was so important to this team, why wasn't it important to them in the third quarter?
Because they were winning throwing the ball, Asa. They were winning throwing the football.
Yeah, but they already knew that they had this game by the start of the second half, right? I mean, I understand.
Kind of. I mean, it was only a two-score game.
John Harbaugh likes to show off a little bit, and that's who he is. And his quarterback likes to show off a little bit. Oh, you want to go for it on fourth? Okay, yeah. Of course he's going to go for it on fourth down against the fucking Chiefs because he's Lamar Jackson and he's John Harbaugh. But pull this comment up again. Joe, I get it. Yes, I understand. Everybody's made that crystal clear. We'll see where Lamar Jackson ends up per pass attempt at the end of the season. I don't even think he's going to make it to the end of the season at this rate, but it's okay.
I have a quick little rebuttal. I'm just curious. Hey, Ace, do you think that the lack of their top 3 running backs has anything to do with the fact that they couldn't get to 100 yards to the end of the game? Do you think? I don't know. I'm just curious.
So, I zoned out. Sorry, say that again.
I said.
I was reading.
You made a comment. You're like, is this the equivalent of the 3-0 home run?
Sorry, that's what I was reading while you were talking. I'm sorry.
I get it. But
No.
I was what I was saying was kind of meaningless. It's okay. We can.
He was just saying because their running backs are out. That's why Lamar Jackson's run the ball more.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with Lamar Jackson running the ball. There's plenty of reasons that he should. He has one MVP based off of his stats on rushing the ball and throwing the ball. I mean, yeah, I was wild when I said, he's not a quarterback, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, these are athletes. Like it's not a coincidence that he's been gearing up and conditioning himself for his whole life. And plenty of other players are doing this too. There's only elite few, obviously, and he's one of those elite few that can do what he does. And I'm not acknowledging that. I understand he's great and all, but I don't see how this is going to be a recipe for the Ravens' success. If this season means you play to win the division and then you play to win each playoff game and then you play to win the Super Bowl, the Ravens aren't doing it with this. Who might do it? The Buffalo Bills. You know who else might do it? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So far, Chiefs too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to acknowledge you there. The Cardinals. I mean, maybe, but you have to do it in. You have to make me believe that this is the recipe for success. And okay, the record, whatever. Like I love nostalgia and all that stuff like that, and I'm cool with it. And I hope that they break the record next week against the Indianapolis Colts. I think that's who they face on Monday night or something like that. I can't remember because I'm heated over here. I'm spicier than these buffalo wings. But yeah, I get
what you're saying, but you're saying that it's not the recipe for success. Since they got Lamar Jackson and have been doing this, they have like a 78% win percentage. It would lead me to believe that if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I should keep doing this. It sounds like a pretty good recipe for success. But Andrew, yeah, we can get the game picks because I know me and Ace kind of went off there.
Oh, you're good for postseason success. I see where Ace is coming from in terms of just winning regular season games, running the ball. I mean, they've got 3,000 rushing yards, and they're the only team to reach the 3,000 yard mark. In the NFL the last 3 seasons, and they've done it every year since Lamar took over. But we'll remain to see if they can do it in the playoffs. But let's switch gears. That's all the news. Pretty long-winded news segment, but a lot of stuff happened yesterday, and it's going to just continue to be that way. We can move on to our game picks. Let's go ahead and review them from this past Sunday. Records as it stands right now, making up some ground. Ace still with a comfortable lead.
Comfortable is one game.
Well, I mean, you're 4 games above 500 to my 2 games, and Johnny's sitting right up.
It's only right. We're only I get you.
Sorry. Thank God I'm 500 now. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank the Lord. 4 games under was looking real bad, man. Hey, Ryan, feel free to roast us, buddy. We all got that game wrong.
Did we talk about this yesterday? I don't even remember.
We touched on it yesterday. Yeah, we touched on it in the morning.
For sure, and we'll skip on to my first L here. This was a real bad game. I thought maybe this would be high scoring, and when by high scoring I mean like 20 to 30 range, and it was kind of boring. I didn't watch the game. I just saw some highlights, watched some stats and stuff like that. Jay was talking about his DFS stack for Justin Jefferson being low percentage owned, and he teamed him up with OBJ there. And he showed us some clips of Baker Mayfield not playing well.
Oh, yeah. I got him for you guys. I'm going to show everyone who the entire AJA Sports Show will see this.
So Dalvin Cook just needs to sit out games, right? And the Vikings will win. Is that kind of the recipe for success here?
Jeez, man. Like, Madison, I mean, he didn't even play that much, to be honest. I would have just held Dalvin Cook out. Like, they gave him like 6 or 7 rushes and a few catches. Just this game overall, God, I thought this was going to be a boat race from the beginning. The Vikings came out, scored a touchdown early. Justin Jefferson got an early touchdown. Both teams honestly played very sloppy, a ton of missed opportunities. Just from it. So this game in general was just one that, honestly, the better team won. The Cleveland Browns are the better football team. They have the better personnel. They have the better coaching staff, in my opinion. They play a style of football that is going to lead to a lot of W's because they're not going to lose games. They're not going to turn the ball over very much. They're going to run the ball and play good defense. That's pretty much what they did yesterday, which is what the Vikings have been trying to do ever since Mike Zimmer got there. And, it seems like their best games come when Kirk Cousins kind of airs it out. But I just want to show everyone, thank you to Joseph, our boy Joe, for sending me this from our boy Mike Leone with Established to Run, to show you where, remember last week I told you guys that Hollywood Brown, just picture every ball that was thrown to him was just money out of Johnny's pocketbook, just falling to the ground. Okay, Baker Mayfield decided to wipe his arse with it this week. Decided to wipe his arse with it and throw these passes. Look at Odell Beckham down. He's right here running the wheel route. He's open by about 10 yards. This ball is not within 15 of him. And then here we go. Here's another one. Same concept. They love this little wheel concept on the inside leverage. And he's wide open again. 5 yards behind him. And this one is just ridiculous. In the red zone. First of all, before I play it, I don't know how you come up with this route, but only like a few guys can run this. And OBJ runs this to absolute perfection. Look at this it's a whip route and then an up. And this ball, the cameraman got a better shot at catching this. It's unbelievable. I mean, Baker, touchdown maker. Not for the Browns. He ain't making no touchdowns with those throws, buddy.
Jarvis Landry's out. Jarvis Landry can throw the football pretty well. I talked about wide receivers that can throw the football. Jarvis Landry to OBJ last year. I think we saw that connection maybe once or twice for TV. Yeah. Like, that's what's exciting. I mean, Baker, get your head out of your State Farm belt here, buddy. Like put on your NFL belt. Learn how to throw the ball. Is this team going to re-sign Baker Mayfield after this season? I don't know.
We were kind of talking about it. Right before we got on here, and it's a big question to ask. Like he's gonna want a big time contract, I imagine, being the number 1 overall pick. And I don't see how you can feel comfortable giving this dude. I mean, Dak got like what, $30 million a year. Are you comfortable giving Baker Mayfield $30 million a year? Because I'm sure as hell not. And given the team around him. Not that I think anyone can win games with this team, but I think there are a lot of competent football quarterbacks right now in the NFL that can win a lot of football games with this Cleveland Brown roster. Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that the talent pool of quarterbacks and what quarterbacks and athletes in general can just do nowadays is at an all-time high. And I mean, that's subjective to the time we're living in. Obviously, we're watching it with our own eyes. So what we're seeing maybe skewed depending on what's on the field now. But I'd be a little, hard pressed making an argument to give Baker that $30 million a year. I could definitely see other guys being able to step into his role and not only be able to be just as effective, probably flourish. But Baker is what he is. And thankfully for the Browns, they're probably going to give him the money. They already extended Nick Chubb for 4 years. They have Kareem Hunt locked up for 3. So the bread and butter of what they do on the offensive line is already set. Jedrick Wills is on a rookie contract, so he doesn't need a payday just yet. Joe Bitonio is on the offensive line. Their offensive line set. So for them to make the argument to give him the $30 million wouldn't be out of their own possibility. Personally, I wouldn't do it, but the crop of talent we have in the NFL nowadays for quarterbacks, just to touch on that, is absurd, and just in general. And I think in this situation, anybody can really flourish. It's built for success, especially in the system Stefanski implores.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson went 31 overall to the Baltimore Ravens. The Cleveland Browns can sit tight if there is a quarterback that falls next year and take a flyer on 1 or 2 in the first 1 or 2 rounds and go from it there if they're not completely impressed with what they see with Baker. But I mean, it's hard, right? Like you invested the number 1 overall pick with this guy, and it seemingly feels like he has the feel to be an NFL quarterback. He is obviously what I mean is a successful one, and it's kind of sucks to be a Cleveland Browns fan, because even when you find your quarterback, and maybe we're overreacting a little bit, but hasn't looked great this season. If anything, he's just been a solid game manager, like Mac Jones over there in New England. He's trying not to lose this Cleveland Browns the football game, and running the ball with his 2 amazing running backs. I mean, I would even lean more into them if possible, but this could, this Browns team invested a lot into this roster. They signed a bunch of players. They made a few trades. They have what the Baltimore Ravens don't have, as far as like the 2, rushing gurus, number RB1 and RB2. Baker just has to not mess up the game, and potentially could have messed up this game if the Vikings didn't play as terrible, because the Browns left like 14 to 21 points on the board there, right, Jay? So
absolutely. And the Vikings defense, the Vikings offensive line got smacked around by that Cleveland Brown defensive line. Myles Garrett was in Kirk Cousins' lap all the time yesterday. So.
Yeah, we mentioned the injuries yesterday too. Going against that defense is going to be kind of a tall order, but our one game here that we could make up some ground in Ace, because he's in the lead right now for the records.
For now,
this is the game that for now this is the game that Ryan sent us that video. I checked out that video, Ryan. Great seats, man. That stadium looks freaking unbelievable. It looks so cool. Even as a visiting fan, I'm glad you guys were able to get the dub as your Cardinals went over there and took care of business. The first time in Sean McVay's tenure as Rams head coach that he's actually lost to the Arizona Cardinals. So since 2017, they have not suffered a defeat at the hands of the Redbirds over in Arizona, but they finally get it done in very, very convincing fashion. As Jay mentioned earlier, the ground game was really one of the forces on the field, and Kyler was just Kyler being, directing traffic and running his offense. We even saw, a little bit of a turn the tide, running back the clock. AJ Green caught a 42-yard touchdown. So we all got this one wrong, but it's more fun to take an L together than it is to take one, on your own. So, live and project another day, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this game a little bit, so we don't have to touch on it too much. So I'll go totally off the script and not talk football at all. Is this when these two teams face off, is this the most handsome coaching duo we've ever seen? I mean, good Lord.
100%. 100%.
Did you see Cliff Kingsbury on the sideline? I mean, slicking the hair back with the super stunning shades. I mean, good.
You see him in the post-game presser with the blazer and the unbuttoned shirt. I mean,
yes.
Guy looks sharp.
Abercrombie. He's a model. And then McVay. I mean, McVay's no slouch. Let's not forget. Yeah, Sean McVay. Oh yeah, got the model tin line. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, good Lord, have yourself a little Victoria's Secret on men style between these two teams' head coaching staffs. Good Lord.
Well, I don't know how to respond.
Nothing football related. I feel like we already talked about the football part enough. So I was just like, dude, I couldn't believe it. Cliff Kingsbury, he pulled the hair back at the end, slicked it back. I was like, whoa.
Well, I mean.
We even got Ryan agreeing. Yeah, both guys, sharp gentlemen. Hey, no shame in the game here on the ATA Sports Show. Yeah, good looking dudes.
So Cliff Kingsbury used to be a football player. I don't remember Sean McVay's past. No, right? He wasn't a football player, right?
I don't think he never made it to the NFL, but he played college.
He played college. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay. So I mean, yeah, we all took an L here. I was. Like I had mentioned, I was maybe trying to, go contrarian or whatever and pick a difference of the teams. And it was either I was thinking maybe to change this one up or maybe change up the Chargers versus Raiders game. But yeah, I didn't. It's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Like you said, it's okay to take an L together. Yeah, what surprised me is how well the Rams played last week against the Buccaneers. And it's okay to lose, and I if anything, it's valuable to lose. So hopefully they take a little bit away from this. Thursday night, which we'll talk about maybe at the end here, it's going to be a good game. It's good. Seahawks versus the Rams. So we'll see how that one shakes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game.
So then we have the Sunday mid-afternoon game here, and I took another L here, and we already kind of talked about this game a little bit, and maybe I'm a little pissed too because the Broncos lost and the Ravens won, and but I stand clear with what I say. I'm not going to fall back on it.
Man of your word.
Yeah. So the Broncos, what I said was earlier before the game started, I said, the Broncos, their pathway to winning the game is for Teddy Bridgewater to have a good game, 300 yards passing, and for their defense to control Lamar and the big plays. And Lamar still, they made big plays, and Teddy Bridgewater was hurt. Team Cheeky captain obviously didn't do enough to rally this team to victory. And it is what it is. The Broncos weren't the best undefeated team left. They're similar on pace with the Panthers. They both played really good teams this week, and they both took a hard L. And for what it's worth, the Broncos deserved it because they didn't play well. So,
yeah, it was nice to see Lamar hit Hollywood Brown after the debacle happened last week. I know a lot of fantasy, we mentioned it. Dropped the ball, dropped touchdowns against Detroit, and still able to get the win. But this game really just came down to picking Lamar Jackson over the Broncos. That's really all it was. It was a tough matchup. It was almost a pick 'em on the line. I just decided to pick Lamar, and like you mentioned, they were able to get it done. Teddy Bridgewater, don't know how long he's going to be out just yet, but if I'm a
Concussion.
Fan, I don't want to see TMG. So concussion, he'll go to the
concussion.
protocol.
Yeah, usually you don't usually miss more than a week.
Maybe a week, yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't have won, Ryan. Yeah, if they didn't run that ball at the end, it wouldn't have won. Would have been over. Yeah, we talked about this enough. We talked about it when we made the picks. This was pretty much there was no reason to pick the Baltimore Ravens. They're banged up. The Denver Broncos have a great defense. They're able to run the ball. Teddy Bridgewater's been doing a great job of taking care of the ball. At the end of the day, I just picked Lamar Jackson because I think he's, a super talented player who can make up for those deficiencies a lot of times. And he was able to do that Sunday. Don't know how many Sundays he's going to be able to keep doing that, but I think he was able to do that Sunday. And, they got the win. So that's all that really matters at the end. Tough place to play, too, in Denver. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I will move it on to the Sunday night game. We had the Bucks at the Pats. We talked a little bit about this one too, right? We were all a little bit surprised how this one shook out. The Buccaneers, fielded a better team overall against the Patriots, and this is what happens, right? When you have a Super Bowl winning caliber roster, you get. Usually you win the close games, and this is one of those close games. And we could blame 4th and 3 calls and stuff like that all we want. Either way, the Patriots had to make a play to try to win this game. They chose picked their poison, and they lost. So
I think that's a great way to break it down. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I was going to say the same thing. Seeing the trend, it was a little. It was very interesting to see the juxtaposition between Bill Belichick making that call there after the few weeks of football we've seen already, where so many teams have committed to going for it on 4th and short, and for him to not go for it there. I understand weather playing a factor a little bit, but being able to, you were able to get 5-6 yards, not really at will against the Bucks, but fairly easily. Mac Jones was making the right reads. If you had the right play call, you took a timeout anyway, you might as well go for that 4th and 3. If you get the ball back to Tom Brady, the most likely outcome was that he's going to go back and get points again. So I would have just probably went for it on 4th and 3. But he's got 6 Super Bowls for a reason. He decided that kicking was the right move, and I don't think he would have done it any differently. It just so happened that he missed the kick. But yeah, like you guys mentioned, very low scoring affair. I thought the Bucs would have put up at least closer to 30, but I didn't anticipate the weather in this matchup at all. I guess maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more, but getting that time of year for Foxborough now.
It rained in Buffalo too, so maybe that one would have been on 47 to nothing. Josh Allen also didn't play the whole game, so rightfully so. Mitch Trubisky is more than capable to
Mitch Trubisky, first touchdown of the member Buffalo Bills. Oh yeah,
our Nickelodeon most valuable player, the Nickelodeon MVP, right?
Only one in history.
Always, he probably will finish as the only one in history, or he'll win it back-to-back years. Like I said earlier in the game, the coaching did enough for the Patriots to stay in this game. It doesn't surprise me that this game was close, for what it's worth. But I would pick the Buccaneers 10 out of 10 times if I had to in this matchup. I wouldn't have veered off of it. So I think we all made the right call here, and we all won. We all got a win. And then that takes us to death. Just complete
absolute shit show. Holy crap!
Complete and utter death. So I'll go first. I only
died once. I feel pretty good.
I'll go first. I picked originally when I put my picks in, because I did it like 3 or 4 days before the show. I had the Chiefs here as my survivor pick because I was like, I'm going to take the Chiefs, who haven't looked great yet. Because when I take them later on in the year, it'll be like, Ace, you're taking the Chiefs. You're copping out. So I was like, perfect time to take the Chiefs. And I was like, you know what? I realized the New Orleans Saints are playing in the Superdome. This is going to be great. They're going to win by like double digits, and they were winning 21-10. And Saquon Barkley, made some nice plays, and the Daniel Jones experiment hit once, and the New Orleans Saints lost in overtime, and it pains me because I didn't get to survive longer than a week. I mean, I had 0 wins to start the season, and then I died the first week, and then I didn't participate in week 2, and then week 3 I won, so I was excited. I had a 1 pick winning streak, and then I died. So I'm improving every week though. So next, when I'm reincarnated again, it's gonna be two in a
It's
row.
over.
I'm gonna take the Bills and the Chiefs with my next 2 picks. Maybe not. Well, the next week might be wild to take either one of those, but
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Andrew, you want to talk about your tough pick there with the Cowboys?
bah.
My tough pick. I mean, yeah, this is
It wasn't tough for you, huh?
I mean, I like to, like I said with the survivor picks, man. I like to pick ones that are, you're not too sure. The Cowboys. I picked last week. I picked the week before this. I picked the Seahawks who were going up against the Vikings, and I thought, it'd be a good matchup. They'll, keep it close. I do expect the Seahawks to win. Another game here. Did expect the Cowboys to win. The score was a lot closer. It was finished 36-28, but the boys stayed alive. This is just going. Listen, as long as the Cowboys keep winning, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm not going to hang my hat. I'm just going to say I said they were going to win 13 games. I still hold that very true. I think they win 13 games. A lot of people have been talking about it on like major sports networks saying like the Cowboys, nobody's talking about them, and that's why they're playing well this year. It's not the only reason, but it's kind of something having to do with it. When people don't talk about the Cowboys, they've been in the national media for the last 24 seasons. This is the only year in recent memory when people haven't been like, it's the Cowboys year. So I picked the Cowboys. So, not a ton of rationale going into it, but I've been calling it.
Well, other people weren't talking about it, but that handsome gentleman right there was talking about him for a while. And honestly, you knew it was coming, right? Like the Tennessee Titans, I don't care. You could have had every receiver out. You should not be losing to the New York Jets, okay? And right when the Survivor
lost to the Jets.
And then to the Jets, lose to the damn Jets. And to be fair, the Jets didn't even want to win. They were doing everything to lose it. I mean, at the end there, in the fourth quarter, they had first and goal inside like the 5-yard line. They throw the screen pass, get them to like the inch line, and they run it up the middle, get nothing. Then on third down, they go with the old naked boot to Zach Wilson, lose 4 yards. No one wanted to win this football game. The second that the survivor picks came out and I was like, oh, Andrew's picking kind of a tough line there. I'm just going to pick the Jets every week. You could have queued up the band music for my dumb ass to lose. Pretty much set me up for failure there on my own. I don't really want to talk about it that much. I suck at the survivor stuff. Good Lord.
Don't worry. I suck too, bro.
Right there. Ace, me and you. Yes, sir.
Man.
You guys will get that pound high five figured out.
Yeah. Okay. So what we decided off camera this weekend when we spoke was whoever gets the least amount of L's deaths this season will be the winner. So right now, Andrew is winning. He has 1 less death than us. So we'll see. Andrew said it. By week 18, this is going to look like a cemetery.
I'm hoping it doesn't, but it's shaping up to look that way. A lot of bonkers score lines going on. Also, can I say yesterday was the first time in NFL history that both the New York Jets and the New York Giants, who were the winners of both of the games that you guys picked, won in overtime on the same day in NFL history. That's crazy. Kind of absurd.
That is.
That's great.
They're from New Jersey. I don't know if you said New York, but there's only one team. There's only one team in New York, and that's Buffalo. I'm sorry, I must have misheard something.
No, you're 100% right, because MetLife Stadium, where they freaking play their home games, is located in freaking New Jersey. So I don't understand why they're the New York Giants. And then New Yorkers who don't like New Jersey, most notably Ted Mosby, will talk crap about New Jersey till the death, but go to Jets games. I don't get it. Jets.
Monday Night Football is delayed for a lightning storm, by the way, in Los Angeles. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because it's really cloudy. It got really cloudy all of a sudden. There's a bunch of humidity out here.
Asa, with the weather forecast outside. Asa, what does it look like?
All right.
Sports weather.
It's gonna rain.
You heard
So yeah, it's I don't know. There's a chance to rain right now, but I don't know if there's supposed to be a thunderstorm. It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain.
Anyway, get into this game.
Are they gonna play this? Is this game canceled? They're gonna play this Tuesday night.
This is a delay. So
Delay? Okay.
I imagine
all
they're
right.
gonna try to play it today.
Ryan, is the whole stadium covered? If you're still in here, is the whole stadium itself covered?
I think
thought it
it's
was a covered stadium.
retractable. I think it's retractable, so they can close it if they want to. I believe. Yeah.
Just because he was there yesterday. I mean, he
or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I have no idea. I figure you build a brand new stadium, the big boy stadium, build a tractable roof. I mean, what are we doing? We're sparing expenses here. I mean, come on.
So why do we think the Chargers are going to win? I'm so tempted to change it to the Las Vegas Raiders right now too. By the way,
with the weather delay, you have more time to do it.
Hey, do it right now. You can do it right now. Do it.
If I do, then I'm tied with Andrew, and you are one game back. By the way, so this is we put John Gruden in the thumbnail. Do it. Hashtag not John Gruden in the thumbnail.
Yeah, you guys see that?
Of course. My thought is what is John Gruden going to do today to ruin this game for the Las Vegas Raiders? They have never been this overhyped or this overrated, in my opinion, than they have to start this season, under John Gruden specifically. And man, Justin Herbert proved that he can win and close games last week against probably a better team. The Josh Jacobs is supposed to play, so I mean that's good for the Raiders. But yeah, I mean I still think the Chargers are going to win this game. I think it's going to be close, probably a 3 to 4 point game, decided in probably the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. It wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders won. I'm not going to change my pick, but maybe one of you should. I mean, you know, you're good with it. You're good with it.
It's against my nature. Can't do it. I think this one comes down. I think this one pretty much comes down to the fact that I think the Chargers are going to be able to protect Justin Herbert, and I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to protect Derek Carr. Derek Carr has done a really good job this year of getting the ball out quickly, and they've done a good job of protecting him for what it's worth, even though I think that offensive line is absolutely cheeky. But, you know, good luck with Joey Bosa. You know, they did struggle in the first quarter against the Steelers when TJ Watt was out there. TJ Watt had a sack and a half and a forced fumble, even though they didn't recover it. So I think Joey Bosa is going to be able to get after Derek Carr. And this Chargers offensive line is really good. In case anyone didn't know, you can tune into the AJA Sports Show. They kind of know what they're talking about football-wise. We were really high on Rashawn Slater, and somehow he still dropped all the way down to 13 to the gosh darn Chargers. I don't know how y'all – actually, did they move up like a spot to get him? I think he was like still like 12 or something.
I don't know if they moved up a spot. I think they may have. I'll have to double check that.
Should have been a top 10 pick in the draft. I mean, was literally besides Penei Sewell was.
That was one of the bigger surprises that he was the one who fell out of the top 10 sure. Him and Devontae Smith, because Devontae Smith ended up going 12 to the Eagles.
Yeah, and honestly, just while we're on the topic real quick, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. I know that Devontae Smith probably has a better quarterback, you know, obviously with Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith looks really good. I mean, and Jalen Waddle's ADOT right now is like literally like 3 yards. Like he's not catching anything more than 3 yards down the field right
now. Ryan coming in here with the comment, it has a roof, but the air coming in around the building, so there's no retractable as far as I know. So it's potentially just because there's a thunderstorm rolling through. I mean, it makes sense for like fan safety, for player safety, to not, you know, just throw your, start a game in the middle of a thunderstorm, especially when, you know, you can delay it by half an hour, which is perfect for us because we can get off the air and we can watch football and we're not missing anything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you guys both were able to share something on your screen. I'm gonna share something on mine real quick. So yesterday, Cody Ford, our right tackle, was replaced with Spencer Brown, who's 6'8", rookie for the Buffalo Bills. And I just wanted to show a little clip of him real quick because he was wild yesterday.
He's 6'8".
He's 6'8". He's
this guy the Big Show.
He LeBron.
Apparently, yeah. So yesterday he was just having a good time, but. There was a encroachment or whatever on the Houston Texans D line, and he did this like real dramatic haha in your face. But a little later in the game, he did this. Let me share it real quick. It's pretty funny.
I love offensive lineman antics.
So this is him. If you can see my mouse,
easy to spot. I didn't need
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Very easy to spot.
Look at this guy. He's like, oh, he's so short.
Oh wow! Even with the little stumpy, geez.
How mighty they have fallen. Is that Desmond King?
The second.
Man, he was an all-pro safety and return man 2 years ago for the Chargers, and now he's playing for the Texans.
And this Spencer Brown, rookie right tackle, playing his first game ever, coming in here and talking smoke. I'm gonna also throw a little shout out real quick because we didn't really talk about the Buffalo Bills. Yes, we did a little bit. You pitched the shutout. I'm talking as fast as Eminem raps. Just wanted to also say Matt Milano got injured, but Tremaine Edmonds had a great game, the highest rated linebacker, I think, by PFF this week. Solid interception. Love the guy. Matt Milano scares me, though, if he misses this week. Without him last year, the Buffalo Bills lost games. With him last year, the Buffalo Bills were undefeated. So Matt Milano needs to be healthy next week against Kansas City Chiefs. I want that to be a great game. When we played in the regular season last year, it wasn't the best game, and the AFC Championship wasn't either. Well, it was okay. And then also a quick little shout out because Jordan Poyer and Teron Johnson didn't play. So Cam Lewis, one of our backup quarterbacks, came in. He did really well. He broke up a pass. He forced a fumble. I just and didn't allow any first downs while he was in coverage. So great team win for the Buffalo. I'm excited for next week. It should be fantastic. We will cover the Thursday night football game and we'll get to our picks later in the week. But man, week 4, it's shaping up to be dramatic as my antics in the middle of this show.
What's it called? Football season goes fast, man. Week 5 is already here on Thursday. Like, I'm one person that, I think you guys can already tell. I know that we all are here on the show. We love football. Every minute it's here, it's so good for me. So do not leave me. Do not want it to go, please.
Can I mention? I think Ryan was like he was stuffed after the appetizer, of course. So your AJA Sports Show family, who loves you dearly, and where all of us watch our caloric intake as well. Hashtag not hobo ace anymore.
Looking great, man.
We're gonna skip the dessert option today. We ate well. We went around the buffet a couple of times. Had several plates. But the true dessert is trying not to get struck by lightning after what I said about Lamar Jackson earlier. And if I do, I will record it and let you guys know how it goes.
I don't know if that'd be possible, buddy. But if I can for 1 second, I'll give this as dessert real fast. We had a lot of viewers in today's stream. Just wanted to say we really appreciate you guys. For those of you guys sticking around, thank you for all the comments. Ryan, Tony, anybody who's new and watching the show. If you guys haven't already, you can find us over here at at Joseph. Thank you as well for tuning in at AJA Sports Show. And again, be sure to subscribe if you want to see us when we do go live, and make sure you don't miss it, so that way we can see more antics and more outlandish comments from all of us, because we are all guilty of that. But we really do appreciate it today, guys. But until next time, unless we have anything else left to say on the show, I think that's going to do it for us. We will be on tomorrow. We will have that post ready for you guys to go. We're going to go watch some football, grab some coffee. But until then, we'll see you all next time. It's the AJ Sports Show. Peace, guys.
Lamar Jackson, running back 1 and quarterback 1. But he's not as good as Sam Darnold.